Nose is nose, so don't be too noisy. We all know about noses, but do we know how noses are drawn? Just draw a dot in the middle of the face. But have you seen a face that just becomes same face syndrome? Today, I will show you how to draw stylized noses that makes each character unique. So today I'm going to be showing you how to draw the front of the nose and the side of the nose based on reference. First of all, a nose, we want to draw it as planes. So if we were to draw a plane of a nose, you can think of it like a basic tie shape. The top is where the bridge of the nose is, and then we have the nose, which this is called the dorsum nasi. Scientific terms, this is the bridge of the nose. And then we also have like the bottom of the nose. So here we're going to try to draw reference 1. And if we draw from the front, we're going to look, and over here we have the nose bridge. So I'm going to draw like lightly yellow nose bridge here. And then we're going to draw the sides of the nose. Always make your sketch light. Sides of the nose. And remember that a nose has thickness to it. And then we can erase these sides so that you have a proper nose structure. And then if you draw the side of the nose, you can think of this like a triangle shape, and then the nostrils on either side. That's the other side of the nose. So this will be side, and this will be front. Okay, so right now I'm going to be showing you how to draw the nose with a reference image. And here I have a reference image of a woman with the eyes and the nose, but we're just going to focus on the nose. So here I want to show you how to draw a basic structure of this nose. We want to think of this as in planes. So if we break it out into shapes, this is a plane in the blue line, right? This is where we see our tie shape. And then here I'm going to use a red pen to show you the other sides of the planes. If we were to make this red, this is the nostril, and that's another plane shape. So you can tell it's just like shapes on shapes on shapes. And then if we were to use that concept for our final reference drawing, which I will show you right now, this is what it will look like. We have our basic rendered tie shape, which is like 3/4 of the nose. And then we also have our red shape here, which is that plane. Essentially, this is the plane of the nose. And then that would be like the nostril of a nose. So the nose would look something like this. Of course, we can always adjust this to see what suits the nose better. So let's just try and draw this out. So here, we're gonna start with the bridge, nose bridge, and the nose at the bottom here. We have our nostrils. You want to keep this light so that you don't need to go back and erase it. And then once you have that, you also have this side is like more shaded. And this is the top of the nose. So the nose essentially would look something like this, and this bottom part would be the philtrum. And we're gonna do, to make it look better, we're gonna be shading it in today. So I'm gonna draw out the nose. And we're gonna shade it. So this side would be more shaded because that's where the shadow comes in. I took a image that is black and white so that you can tell where the shades would be. And that you can see, oh, okay, so that's the nose. And that's the lightest part. This is a darker shade. And you kind of just, for me, I like to shade things one on top of the other, like cross-hatching. So if it's not dark enough, I'll go back and cross-hatch on top. And then we'll cross-hatch the bottom because that's where the shadows will be placed. And then make sure that you know that this is like a circle. This part, like a half circle, so that this part of the shadow would be darker. And then this, and then this ending here would have the philtrum. And essentially this is what a nose would look like from this reference model. Something like that. Yeah, so if you followed along, next time we're going to show you how to draw other noses in the next part of the video. This is basically how you can draw and shade in a nose that is from a reference image. So today I'll be showing you how to draw the nose from an adult reference, a young reference, and old reference. So young would be around 8 to 10 years old. And then adult would be, 18 to 25 maybe. And then old would be like 70 to 80. So I just put this reference as like a way to show you the difference of nose shapes. I start with the base, of course, and then we draw the two nostrils for the front of the nose. Usually a kid's nose is shorter and it's smaller than an adult's nose. And then we also draw the adult nose here, which is a 3/4 view. Start with the nose bridge. It's a little longer and it's from the top, so we want to just draw a simplified version of this nose. And then we have the old nose, which is the base. Very, very meaty nose here. We have like a round circle-ish shape over here, as you can see. And then we have the two nostrils, which look like ovals. And you can just draw the top of the nose bridge, and it has a lot more wrinkles to it. And since we already learned how to shade the nose, I won't go into too much detail of shading it. Basically, the nose is going to be darker at the bottom because the nose is protruding out of the mouth, so it covers the philtrum. This is the philtrum here. Covers the philtrum of which connects the mouth and lips to the nose. Nose cannot be drawn in isolation as much as the way eyes could be drawn in isolation, since it's like in the middle of the face, so usually it covers a larger portion of the area. One thing you can notice about the philtrum is that if you are like drawing an old character, their philtrums are usually a lot longer because of age, so their philtrums would be longer. And then if you're drawing a younger character, of course, the philtrum will be shorter. Now we are going to talk about the mistakes of drawing noses. So sometimes when you draw a nose, you might draw the nostrils too low. So for example, this is a nose here. You draw the nostril way too low, and it looks something like that. Now that looks weird, doesn't it? So we want to make sure that it's... No, we're not doing that, right? We're gonna change it to something that looks like where we have the nostrils right on the part of the tip of the nose, and then you have your nostrils here. So that would be something that looks like a more proper nose. Or you make the nose not have any volume, so this would be that nose. No volume nose would be usually seen in anime. You simplify a nose. Anime noses look like that, literally. So I actually draw my noses like this. But if you want to make it more semi-realistic, you could always change it up until it changes to this, like, substantial nose that looks better on a face. So we also have the problem with same face syndrome, but with noses. So if you draw a face, and we always have the same nose, which honestly I'm kind of guilty of this, but let's just say that we have a nose of a character and everybody's noses look the same. Now that's going to cause an issue because it makes, noses are not like eyes where it's so obvious that all of the faces have the same eyes, but still, if you have the same nose of the character, a female character, always anime loves drawing noses with like small noses, because who doesn't love a small nose? Am I correct? Let's just give her like a small nose, right? But if we copy her character, like we copy this character here, and then we move her over like that, I'm gonna change her nose to something that looks a little bit better. Change her nose to be, maybe we draw her with a bigger nose. See how that changes the whole character's look? Now she looks more unique, right? And then of course you could always change it to something else. Like if you don't like this style of nose, you could give her a hook nose. And just by simply changing the lines of the nose, you can change the whole character's